Hello everybody, welcome back to Norwich Talk for a preview of Norwich City's clash with Liverpool at Carrow Road in the third round of the Carabao Cup. It comes after a very unpleasant weekend to be a Norwich City fan, to be honest. I'm sure we're all feeling the same. Maybe not the same, but very similar. There were some extreme opinions. There were some very calculated opinions. I banned myself with the more extreme opinions. Myself and Sam did a stream after the match. That probably won't be a common occurrence, but it felt like the right time to do one. And we just kind of lost our heads, really, which I think was fair enough. We didn't say anything too erratic, but at the same time, it was very frustrating. And the beauty of football is that every opinion matters. So we just had a little bit of a meltdown. But we're not really going to be talking about that. A few of my justifications for this lineup will be because of that game, but at the same time, let's try not to focus on it because it was quite bleak, wasn't it? But as I said, it's a preview video, it's a preferred 11 video. Now, the key word is preferred 11 rather than predicted. This is the team that I'd go for. Is it the team Daniel Farke will go for? I'm not too sure, but whilst to get something out of my eye, goodness me, I don't know if you can see me sort of twitching then. It's still there, but hey ho, we'll crack on. We'll start with Angus Gunn in goal. For me, just kind of classic change the goalie for the cup. That's just part of the routine now. Luckily for Norwich, seems a bit harsh. Thankfully for Norwich, it's sort of a younger goalkeeper, someone like Angus Gunn rather than Michael McGovern, where it will feel quite fruitful, this match for Angus Gunn. Tim Krul's kicking hasn't been great this season, but I don't think it's worth dropping him in the league at all or anything. But at the same time, Angus Gunn needs to run out. Why not? Liverpool under 23s. I don't know who Jurgen Klopp will play, to be honest. That's kind of the theme of this video. I haven't got a clue who Liverpool will actually put out. But Angus Gunn in goal, I think that one's quite simple. Now, in terms of the back line, I'm going for three changes from the weekend. I'm keeping Max Aarons in, but I'm going for Andrew Omobamidele, Ben Gibson, and Dimitris Giannoulis to his left. Couldn't do left and right, so then brilliant. But I'm going for almost a completely new back line. One, again, it's a midweek game, and I suppose you want to rest a few players, but also at the same time, Kabak, Hanley, Williams were pretty poor at the weekend, to be honest with you. Now, I'm not saying they shouldn't be in with a sniff against Everton. I'm just saying for this game, tiredness plus just not being very good versus Watford is the reason I've changed that. Omobamidele, I think it was kind of harsh to drop him really for the Watford game because he was very good against Arsenal. He's a very good footballer, kind of cut from the Premier League cloth really. Ben Gibson, I don't really know the fitness situation. I think he's fully fit now, and to be honest, he makes it into my strongest 11. So I'm chucking Ben Gibson in. Him and Omobamidele I think they had a very brief partnership, but I think it was okay in the Championship. Might have been a couple of games, but on paper, their characteristics suggest it should be quite good because they're both very comfortable on the ball. Ben Gibson's quite good at reading the game. I think he has kind of struggled in the Premier League so far in terms of the lack of pace, but I do think once he gets going, he will get going. Omobamidele for now is made for it, and I'm sure as he plays more, there'll be maybe a few more reasons to criticise. But until then, I have nothing really bad to say about him, to be honest. Giannoulis back in for me. Again, I criticised him defensively against Liverpool. Didn't think he was particularly great. But at the same time, Williams hasn't been against Watford, and he actually wasn't really against Leicester. He was very good against Arsenal, but I think it's time to chuck Giannoulis back in. I think going forward, he's fantastic. I have absolutely no doubts in terms of my personal comfortability and personal belief in his ability. As an attacking threat, I think he's fantastic. We saw it against Liverpool, didn't we? At Carrow Road, he was very confident on the ball. He got himself in some very dangerous positions. It was just the final ball lacking in terms of, not real quality, but knowing what to do, which links to who I've got up front. But that's my backline. I think that's well justified. In the middle, I've gone for Billy Gilmour, Jacob Sorensen, and PLS Malou. Billy Gilmour immediately. I said something kind of wacky on the stream, which in my gut I still feel for now. I think it's part of this extremist view that I have of just kind of losing your head. But if you want to know what that view is, go and watch the other video. I can't be bothered to talk about it now. Billy Gilmour, he's in there for that kind of ability to play a long pass, and again it links to who I've got up front in terms of that pass actually being useful. I've gone for Jakob Sorensen, but in my notes here I've got Sorensen or Norman. I'm not really fussed. Norman for the second goal against Watford was abysmal positioning, but it was his first game, so I'm willing to kind of forgive that and be like, right, he'll learn from that. Daniel Farke will point that out to him. It hopefully won't happen again. But I'm going for Jakob Sorensen mainly because it's like, if he's not going to play in the Cup, I don't really get what the point in him is, to be honest with you. I feel kind of bad for him because he's clearly like a very good player. Premier League quality, we don't know yet because he hasn't played. But he's just kind of on the bench. And when it comes to the Premier League discussion, no one ever really thinks about him. So I'm chucking him in just for game time, to be honest with you. Again, I'm not fussed if it's Norman either. I wouldn't think it would be, as he played, I think, a good 70 minutes, 75 minutes on Saturday. And to his left, I've gone for PLS Malou. I really like PLS Malou. I really, really do. He wasn't fully fit for the weekend. If not, he would have made it into my starting 11 for Watford. I think it was about 60 minutes in, I wanted him to come on for Kenny McLean. Kenny McLean ended up then making the mistake. I don't really have an issue with McLean. It's just he's either very good or he's not. He was really poor against Watford. Again, I know most players kind of were, but when it comes to this specific change, I want Les Malou. Les Malou's very creative, and he's got that graft about him. And I think he's the sort of player you need for this midfield three to work. You need someone who's going to be that workhorse. And against Leicester, Les Malou was exactly that. Against Arsenal, he was that as well. You look at the penalty he won against Leicester, it's him pressing high up the pitch, getting himself into a dangerous position. When it comes to tackling and defending, I think it's more just a case of putting him under pressure. I don't expect him to win every tackle. I expect sort of Norman or Sorensen to be that kind of ball winner, ball retainer, I don't know, whatever. But I want Les Malou in because he says he's about creativity, goals, assists, and that's what this team needs. When you get into transition, I think Norwich kind of look to get into a 4-2-3-1, and you look at that midfield three and you think, all right, who's going to be the central attacking midfield? I think Les Malou is the most likely out of all of those, especially kind of within the club at the moment, especially in that 4-3-3 formation, that is. My front three, I've gone for Todd Cantwell, Josh Sargent, Christos Giannoulis. Cantwell, I actually wanted him to start against Watford, but he didn't, which I kind of understand, but at the same time, it didn't really work. So I don't know. Todd Cantwell has that innate ability to pick out the right pass, whether it's a big switch of play, whether it's a through ball. He's very good on the ball as well, very confident with the dribbling ability, likes to take players on. If he's going to have an impact in this game, he'll need to be on it. Sometimes with Cantwell, he'll drift from a game. But one thing that's kind of really developed about him is his work rate and his work ethic. So I think even at the very least, you're going to get a lot of running out of him, which when you want to make a change, I think you want a bit more than just running from a player. But I absolutely back Todd Cantwell to do very well this season, and I think he's the right fit for the Liverpool game. Theoretically, say it's a very weakened Liverpool team, Norwich are probably going to look to have a bit more of the ball. It's the same reason as Watford, where I thought they would. Cantwell supports that, to be honest, rather than someone like Josh Sargent or Milot Rashica, where they're going to get the ball and be very direct. On the other flank, I've gone for Zolis. Now, I've got Cantwell on the left or right on this. I can't remember which way I've got them round, but either way, it doesn't matter because you can literally just change within the game depending on what's happening. That's kind of the beauty of the inside forward. I've gone for Christos Giannoulis because when you want a team to be able to counter-attack very quickly, you need pace, you need flair. I haven't really seen it, to be honest with you, but I don't know about end product yet. From what I've heard, the research I did, it was pretty decent. He had a very good return in Greece, didn't he, in terms of goals and assists, but he absolutely has pace and flair. I want him to take players on. I want him to get to the byline. I want him to cross it into Josh Sargent, whether it's a cross from deep, whether it's a drilled ball across the box. Christ, I'm really bottling the words at the moment, aren't I? But it's the same logic as Cantwell, really, where it links to the man up front, where the beauty of Josh Sargent for me is that he can kind of do it all. He can challenge in the box, but he can also get himself into a clever position for a through ball, for a low driven cross, anything like that. I want to see him score in kind of like a high pressure situation, not a Bournemouth at home in the Carabao Cup, because I feel like once the floodgates open, it's then goals, maybe not goals galore, but it should be quite a few for Sargent. Against Watford, he was so bright. On the ball, he's so kind of just willing to go forward and be very aggressive, and I really love that. This isn't a case of dropping Pookie because I don't think he's very good. I just want him fully fit for Everton. It's that. Pure and simple. But Sargent against Watford was so bright for me, so promising. And I think, again, I linked this to Giannoulis and Gilmour, didn't I? In terms of if Giannoulis wants to get to the byline, he can cross it in and know Sargent will at least be in the box to challenge. Billy Gilmour, if he wants to clip one over the top, he know that Sargent will be up to challenge for it, whether it's a through ball, Sargent will be there. I'm putting quite a lot of pressure on his shoulders, but again, previews are all theoretical, aren't they? So that's my thoughts. That's my lineup. I'm keen to know yours in the comments down below. In terms of the result for this game, I'm not bothered at all. I could not care less about the cup, the Carabao Cup, to be honest with you. From a Norwich City perspective, I think it's a wonderful trophy. You know, good luck to whoever wins it. Well done. I don't care. as a Norwich fan. I want us to stay in the Premier League. I want that to be the primary objective. I wouldn't reject a cup run. Like, if Norwich won, I wouldn't be upset, but at the same time, I want an improved performance, and I want a vastly improved performance. I want to watch the game and think, right, that is what Norwich City are trying to do, or there's the new identity, or there's this new formation really working. I'm not expecting something sort of revolutionary, but I'm expecting something much better. Again, we could lose 2-0, but as long as we've attacked, as long as we've had 30 shots, 20 shots on target, whatever, as long as we're creating clear opportunities where I think, right, okay, and as long as I see some defensive intelligence, not the just annoying, really bad defending that we saw against Watford. Again, if it's this 11, it'll be a completely different personnel, so who knows what will happen. But yeah, they're my thoughts. I want to know your thoughts in the comments down below. Your 11, what you think about my 11. If you care, if you want to leave a thumbs up, that would be greatly appreciated. If you want to subscribe too, help us get to that 1.5k mark, I would be eternally grateful. So until next time, we'll see you again very, very soon.